Cheer people, what's good? Hope you fellas are safe and well. Now, in this video, I thought I'd just sort of share my opinion, my thoughts on Assassin's Creed Origins. I have finished it, finally, a few hours ago, so I've just sort of, just been thinking it over, thinking what I want to say for this, writing down thoughts and notes and that for this review type video. So I guess in this video I just wanted to discuss with this being with Origins being a breath of fresh air to the franchise, which is what Ubisoft was stating, that Origins was going to be something different, something new, a breath of fresh air to the franchise. I just wanted to say, have they done this? What have they changed? Has it been changed for the better? Or have they just stuffed up the whole franchise altogether? Which I guess they kind of have, with by having yearly releases of Assassin's Creed games, which I think was a wrong move, and they just really killed their own franchise by releasing a game every year. It was just overboard, to be quite honest. So, with Origins, they took a year off, which I guess could be... I mean, you could say that they didn't really take it a whole year off, because Ubisoft still released that Ezio collection, which had 3 games in it, a remastered, Ezio collection. I'm like, stop talking shit. I'm like, a year off, babe. Well, what do you call that Ezio collection then? Like, so in a way, I guess you could say they didn't even take a year off, because they still released, released an Assassin's Creed game, and then you got the Assassin's Creed Chronicles. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop before this review turns into a rant video. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. What have they done? Have they improved the game, or have they kind of just stuffed it up by making too many changes? So yeah, this is just one man's opinion. With that being said, let's get into the video.
You are the Magi from Siwa. I thought Magi's were supposed to protect the Pharaoh. I am Magi to no Pharaoh. You see this? I can read my own name, Nat! We will find you. We will find you in your sleep! Sleep? I never sleep. I just wait in the shadows, and I will kill you all! Everyone who sniffed the air that day in Siwa!
Okay, so first off, I've beaten Assassin's Creed Origins on hard difficulty, which is the 3rd hardest difficulty in the game, which is hard. You get easy, medium, and hard. And I thought, well, hey man, look, I've been following these AC games for many years. I was like, stuff it. Let me... have a go of that hard difficulty. Let's go, boy. Yeah, boy. That's us. We out. Let's go. So, I was, so I played it on hard. I have reached the max cap, level 40. You cannot go any higher. But there is an XP. So, even though you've capped at level 40, you can still refill the XP meter bar over and over and over, and every time you've filled the XP bar, it will the game will give you 1 ability point, which you can spend on buying your skills in the skill tree, and that kind of like Destiny 2, sort of like that, how you can keep sort of filling up the XP bar and you'll get bright engrams. It's almost like that kind of a deal. So what is there? That what I didn't notice especially at first, was definitely that the game is grindy. Like, it was hell of a grind. The game was so much of a grind, especially compared to other previous AC games, This because you see, Origins has been specifically designed for people, um, for people to set aside grinding time because of how the game's been built, and how the missions have been built, because each story mission has levels to them, and if you're under leveled, the game would recommend you to go do some side quests and level up Bayek. And I'm not too sure how people like that. If you like that, like me, I didn't mind it, but I know that there are other AC fans that just like to play the story, and they don't really bother with the side quests. They just want to get that story and do those missions. But in Origins, you have to stop playing the campaign and go away and do some side missions and upgrade your Bayek and that, and stuff like that. So I'm not too sure how many fans like this feature, or which just sort of adds to the grind of it, as well as upgrading your gear was another grind, because you've got your hidden blade in that, and your pouches, and your chest plate armor, but all of that needs to be upgraded if you want to stand a chance and get more powerful. Because even enemies have a level, so there will be some enemies where they are too high for Bayek to kill, or they'll just be hard to kill overall. Even in terms of stealth, so even your hidden blade has got a level on it, and in order to kill enemies with one hit, you have to keep upgrading your hidden blade. Not all enemies. All enemies can be hit once with a one-hit kill, but you need to upgrade that hidden blade. So there's that, which I didn't mind. I quite like that feature. I quite like that sort of upgrading your hidden blade, making it stronger, to the point where you can kill pretty much almost every enemy in the game with one hit stealth kill. So there's that. But you see, upgrading your gear, in order to upgrade your gear, you need to hunt for ingredients, and the ingredients you find around the world. You use Senu. You've got Senu, which is an eagle, your pet eagle, and she helps you find animals and that, and your ingredients out in the world, which is bronze, iron. What else have you got? Sort of soft skin, hardened skin, and special epic skin, which are lions and tigers and that, and hyenas. And then you've got your hardened skin, which is crocodiles and hippos and that, and then your soft skin, which is deers, antelope type thing, goats, I think. Yeah. So those are all of your ingredients. Those are like hunting for resources is fine. It's just when you're wanting to upgrade your gear, the game will tell you need a ridiculous amount. Like the game might ask you for it. For like 72 pieces of hardened skin, which I'm like sitting here like, 72? Are you for real? You really need 72 pieces of crocodile skin in order to upgrade my chest plate? Like, huh? I'm like, I'm sorry, like, what? Why? So that sort of adds into the grind. In terms of upgrading your gear, because it'll ask you for a ridiculous amount, like 82 pieces of soft. I'm like, bro, are you really? Or 52 pieces of iron, and 30 pieces of bronze. I'm like, oh man, it's all a bit ridiculously over, sort of over exaggeration of the gear. But keep in mind that might be because my difficulty is hard, whereas if you played the game on easy or medium, maybe the grind isn't as monotonous. But since I'm playing on hard, it's a bit monotonous. It's a bit terrible, actually. So there's all of that, and then you got the side quests, another piece to add to the whole grind. Some of the side quests are quite repetitive, and it sort of came to the point where I felt like Bayek was like an Egyptian taxi, so to speak, because most of the side quests I found that I'm just carrying people from one place to another. So they're either tortured Egyptians or drunken Romans, or something like that, to the point where I have to carry the person from point A to point B, and I'm just like, is but is, is it just me, or does Bayek seem like an Egyptian taxi who just takes people, from place to place? I thought that was kind of funny, actually. I don't know if that was how they wanted to do it, but that's how the side quest sort of, that's how it seemed like to me. Bayek was a human taxi. so there's all of that, but in some side quests, there are some really good side quests. The culture, the Egyptian culture, has been put into the side quests to make them more, Egyptian-like, and I really appreciate that they've taken some of the culture, Egyptian culture, and sort of put it into the side quests with the mummification of their dead and how they like to, bury their dead in that. And I like it. I think that's really cool. Like some very interesting Egyptian-y stuff, culture stuff in there. And then you got the gods and that, because they still, in that time, they did believe in gods and curses and legends and that sort of added into the game. It's really, really well done. So there's still elements where it's very interesting, but then it kind of gets killed by the grind a bit. I'm like, oh great, now I need to go find some more crocodile skins. I'm like, man, this is some bullshit. so there's all of that. Now I want to move on to the combat. The combat is really great, right? When we're talking about 1v1. Okay, but when we're talking about multiple enemies, that's when the game starts to get all glitchy and the frame rate drops. I'm playing on my standard PS4, so the frame rate drops. I'm not too sure how it performs on the Pro or the Xbox One X or the PC or whatever. But on the standard PS4, when you're facing multiple enemies, everything gets all glitchy. The controls are unresponsive. So I want Bayek to attack, but he doesn't attack. I don't know. It's a bit glitchy in that. So my controls are unresponsive and they don't register into the game. Frame rate dips, very glitchy. Yeah. So that's what I got. But when we're talking about 1v1, it's great. It's nowhere near as glitchy or as, the frame rate is quite stable. But multiple enemies, it's terrible. Real terrible. What else is there? I think that's pretty much it. The combat's alright. Oh yes, the stealth. As for the social stealth, there is no social stealth. So I know a lot of assassins out there who love hiding in the crowd and waiting for the target to approach, or using a group of people to infiltrate a fort or a restricted area. That's what I did. I also liked about the Assassin's Creed games, you can use the people to your advantage. You can use the crowd, be a hidden blade, or and stuff like that. But in this game they've taken it away, because I guess this is the Origins, so I guess they just sort of, this is Origins is just telling how the Creed began, and that's kind of what this whole Assassin's Creed Origins is all about. At the end of the day, this is telling how the Creed became the Creed, where the beginning was, which was great. It told you sort of Bayek was this sheriff, a magi for who was a protector of the Egyptian people and to the pharaoh, and they sort of play along that. And as you play the campaign, he sort of becomes, he sort of leaves his magi what do you call it, sort of image, and he becomes a blade in the shadows, kind of like the Assassin's Creed that we know, that we know now. So it's a really interesting side quest, like a main story event, Origins. I think the story was great, except for the ending was a bit funny, because you sort of played as, I don't know if I should say, I don't want to spoil it. Okay, I won't spoil it. But, the ending was a bit funny. I was like, oh, okay, is that how you're going to end it? Okay. okay. And the way it ended, it was like, well, that was kind of a waste of time me upgrading Bayek, because in the end, it's like none of your weapons really mattered. None of your high end weapons or your bow and arrows and your shield really mattered, because it didn't even, they didn't matter. I don't want to spoil anything, but they didn't really matter. So it was like, pfft, why even bother putting all that time into upgrading my gear? I didn't even use it. I'm like, oh, whatever. So that's that. The ending was a bit stink, but other than that, I liked it. I definitely like it. This is a game for people that like RPGs, that don't mind grinding. If you like grinding, then hey man, this game might be for you. But if you just want to play the story and want to get the story, that's not how this game has been designed. This game has been designed for players to set aside grinding time, to upgrade Bayek, so that you can progress in the campaign. So yeah, overall, I liked it. I enjoyed it. The present day story was interesting, but I might have to make a separate video for that, because this video is already a bit too long. But yeah, it was okay. I mean, nothing amazing. I thought that they still could have done better with the present day storyline. It wasn't anything great, but it was better than the previous present day storylines that we got, though. Which was I guess good, but still in Origins it was still, yeah, it was okay, but nothing really happened in the present day, to be quite honest. Nothing that important. It was just sort of meh. But with that being said, I think the best thing about Assassin's Creed Origins would have to be the setting, the Egyptian setting, with the environment, with the land, the desert. You've got lakes and water there, with vegetation, wildlife, even the buildings, the Egyptian buildings, the pyramids, the statues, the sculptures, the artwork, the Egyptian hieroglyphic patterns and all that, the pictures. It all looks very well, and it really immerses you in Egypt, and what Egypt could have looked like, and what it would have looked like back in way back in the past. And I think that's one of the best things about Origins, and I think that's what something that Origins really shines at, is that time set, is that time period. It just looks really amazing, and they've put a lot of hard work into it, and you can tell it's done very nicely. Even they even put in mirages in the desert, where you can see sort of like fish, like a fish falling out of the sky, or even a mirage where there's water and a lake and that. It's really out of it and kind of creepy. See people and things that aren't actually there. So in terms of the environment and the people, and the culture and the setting, the time period, I think that's one of the best things about Assassin's Creed, definitely. That's me. I'm done. Thank you for watching my sort of review, sort of impressions. Did Ubisoft deliver? I think they did, but they could have delayed the game, another year, or even 2 years, or maybe even 3 years. They could have really buckled down and really focused on making Origins a really great game, but there are other aspects where it just falls flat on its face. But yeah, anyways, that's my review opinion type thing. If you fellas are playing Assassin's Creed Origins, are you liking it? Have you beaten it, or have you just sort of dropped it and moved on to the next game, Star Wars Battlefront or something? But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you fellas up in my next video. Peace.
Anytime, Bayek! There will be songs of us, Bayek! Now, we must join the ships. We will be heroes, sword and mind.